Thank you, and welcome back to Race Industry 2023. Next, we're going to travel to Japan. My understanding, it's pretty early in Tokyo right now. I'm checking, and I think it's around 6:30 a.m. So we're very lucky to have people getting up early for us. We're going to have Mr. Bandoh, the chairman of Super GT Japan. Super GT, I was fortunate enough to attend some of their races in my PRI days, and I used to go to Japan once a year, and it's a very, very popular series over there with drivers from around the world competing, and it's absolutely incredible. So we are very lucky to have Mr. Bandoh with us. Now, Mr. Bandoh does not speak English, so we're going to bring with him a translator, Yukiko, and my understanding is that Yukiko is sitting there with Mr. Bandoh. So before we start, Brad, they sent us a wonderful video. It's about 4 minutes long, and it showcases everything about Super GT. So let's run the video, and then we'll dive right into the interview.
There is more than one story. There are as many stories as there are challengers and supporters. At the circuit, different drama spins within each heart. Super GT, Japan's most popular touring car racing series. A combined grid of over 40 GT racing machines composed of the two GT classes, the GT500 and the GT300. Extremely exciting battles never failed to put up breathtaking shows. The Super GT GT500 class is joined by the three major national manufacturers, Toyota, Honda, and Nissan. The world's fastest GT machines have been developed with the prestige of each manufacturer at stake, competing for supremacy. Toyota GR Supra GT500. Honda NSX GT. Nissan Z GT500. The Super GT grid gathers the world's top-ranked drivers from both Japan and abroad to compete at the highest level. 2023 is the last year the machines compete under the 2020 technical regulations. These matured racing machines are ready for their ultimate battle. The highly anticipated GT300 class. Competitions are held between more than 10 different world-leading supercar models. Japanese original racing machines and originally developed mother chassis also join the high-end competition. The fact that the two different classes with different speed range race together add up to the always exciting and always unpredictable results. And the Super GT's unique regulations add even more thrill to the races. Success weight is determined according to the points earned. As weight is added to the cars, it creates further close competition and more heated and exciting battles between the racing drivers. Another unique feature of the Super GT series is the driver change rule. The required driver change pit stop makes room for further and unique race strategies. Tire performance is also critical. Therefore, the fierce competition among tire manufacturers becomes another major factor in the results of the races. 4 tire manufacturers compete head-on. Battles between the best of the best go on until the last moment. Climax beyond all imagination awaits at the end of each battle. Extraordinary performance never ceases to delight. The attractions in the Super GT consist not only of the racing. Super GT race queens surely add glamour to the events. A wide variety of off-track events. And spectacular exhibitions further enliven the race weekends. Super GT plans to adopt carbon-neutral fuel from 2023. The goal is to cut CO2 emissions by 2030. While environmentally friendly, all will be able to continue enjoying the powerful roaring sound of the racing machines. Super GT will continue to offer exciting races. In 2023, Super GT has a total of 8 races planned to be held at 6 different racing tracks. Many stories will continue to unfold. Let us witness and enjoy it all together.
Thank you very much for getting up very early, Mr. Bandoh. Arigato gozaimasu, Bandoh-san. Brad Gilly, on to you.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And Mr. Bandoh, I don't think we can hear you right now. I'm not sure if there's a microphone connection or not, but it did look like you were talking. So we'll give you a second to do that while I just say what an incredibly compelling video and just a great highlight of what Super GT is and all of that. I think we can hear you now, which is wonderful. So Mr. Bandoh, thank you so much for joining us here today.
はい。おはようございます。皆さん、こんにちは。GTA のチェアマンの坂東です。ご招待いただきありがとうございます。いろんな角度からモータースポーツ、日本のモータースポーツを作り上げたいと思っております。よろしくお願いします。
Good morning. My name is Bandoh Masaaki. I'm the chairman for the Super GT in Japan. It's a pleasure to be with you. I'm very happy to be here and meet you all. And I would like to talk about the Japanese motorsports, in particular Super GT. My name is Sonia, and I'll be translating for you for the next 30 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate this. I know we are already getting a couple of questions in from the chat. I would encourage you, if you do have a question, then certainly go ahead and ask it there, and we'll talk about it. But you know, so many different things to talk about, especially after watching that video. But Super GT and the success that has been there in Japan. 1994 is when all of this started. You guys see crowds of nearly 50,000 people at your events and everything. If you would, tell us about actually an event weekend itself, and both from the spectator and the competitor side, and some of the exciting things that happen.
はい。レース始めて、1994年からのレース始めてですね、今年で30年になります。
So yes, we are celebrating our 30th anniversary this year, starting in 1994.
レースの週末というと、金曜日の日に、搬入があって、土曜日の午前中に、練習走行を、約2時間して、午後から予選をし、次の日にサポートレースあっても、日曜日の日に、300キロ、300マイル、450キロのレースを、全部で8000やっております。
All right, so we arrive at the racing tracks, 8 of them around Japan. We have 8 rounds per year. We arrive on a Friday and set up on Friday. Then Saturday morning, we gave 2 hours to the teams to do official free practice. And then the race itself is during the week. I mean, on Saturday we have the qualifying. Then on Sunday we have the race. Races are can be 300 kilometers, 300 miles, 450 kilometers, depending on the weekend.
That's incredible. We do have, I know that starting in 2005, Super GT became an international series certified by the FIA. And one of the questions one of our viewers wants to know, we saw the two different classes, the GT 500 and GT 300. Do either of those two classes match any of the FIA class category rules, like a GT2 or a GT3? Could the cars race else? Like, are they similar in other series?
他のシリーズに近い車があるんですかね。
GT500 の方は、過去においての DTM の車と共通であって、基本的にレギュレーションとしては2リッターのターボ、直噴ターボというものにエンジンをみんな統一して、ドイツと共に一緒にモノコックの作り方も2013年からDTM と共通レギュレーションというものを作りながら、やったんですけども、まあ、エキシビションマッチまでは行ったんですけども、実際には今 DTM が行われてないのが一つです。
Well, we have two categories, as you well mentioned. We have the GT300 and the GT500. Regarding GT500, we've competed with the DTM in Germany. So we have created, along with the DTM, a common regulations. We both raced 2-liter turbo vehicles, racing cars. And since 2013, we have created a monocoque, which is a common monocoque. So unfortunately, we did have matches with the DTM, but unfortunately, it is now only us that race according to to those regulations, the Class 1 regulations, since DTM has changed a bit.
Okay, thank you.
GT300 の方は、世界各国共通の GT3 のマシンを、BOP は SRO、ステファン・ラテルのところの、レギュレーションを使いながらですね、それと JAF 特有の日本の JAF-GT と呼ばれるレギュレーションを一緒に走らせているのが GT300 クラスとなります。
And along with the GT500s, we do have the GT300s. In the GT300s, we have different types of cars, which include the GT3s, which come from all over the world. So that would be participants from all over the world. The BOP that we introduce in our series is SRO, Stefan Rattel's BOP system, which we implement and use throughout the season. Besides the GT3s, we do have JAF GTs. So JAF is our ASN, and so it's a national JAF GT regulations.
That's very interesting for sure. The cars look phenomenal, and loving the GT500, Toyota, Honda, Nissan, all being a part of it. But one thing that also seems very unique, there are a lot of racing series throughout the world that typically stick to one tire manufacturer. They might even want to avoid, say, a tire battle between different manufacturers. Yet, Super GT, you are embracing Bridgestone, Dunlop, Michigan, Yokohama. And it seems to be just a wonderful thing. Can you tell us about that with different tire manufacturers racing? And are teams allowed to switch throughout rounds, or how does that work?
チームがマニファクチャーをスイッチするんですか？それともどういう？
タイヤマニファクチャーのところに対するものは、チームがチョイスするものもあるし、自動車メーカーが決める場合もあるけれども、基本的にはチームがチョイスをして、今までの関係の中からタイヤメーカーを選んでます。
Yeah, so regarding the tire manufacturers, as you well mentioned, we do have the Bridgestone, Yokohama, Michelin's, Dunlops. How it works is that usually either the manufacturers or the teams, and mainly the teams, would choose, well, business relationship, obviously, will choose what tire manufacturers they would prefer to use, and then it's a collaboration between the team and the tire manufacturer.
I like that. That's really neat. A question from our chat from one of the viewers, and a two-part question. Where can I download the technical rules, and how do you performance balance between the different models?
ダウンロードのテクニカルなね、レギュレーションはダウンロードできますか？拝見することは。
はい、それはできます。
どこで拝見
言っていただければ、基本的にオープンにはしてないですけども、必要なものがあれば、言っていただければ、こちらからオープンで出すことは可能です。
So yes, regarding the technical regulations, as you just mentioned, they are not open, but you can contact us directly, and we are very happy to share the regulations with you. That is not a problem. And sorry, what was the other question?
And then performance balance. So if you have Honda, Nissan, Toyota, I know you had talked about the success weights, for example, is one of the ways to try and keep all of the cars in line with each other. How do you manage that in other ways as well?
基本的に、最初の初戦の時にはウェイトなしの状態で、戦います。そこからサクセスウェイトが積まれるような格好で、1位に対して何キロというものを積んでいくんですけども、マックスが、100キロまでになってますんで、それ以上積んだ時には、燃料リストリクターを絞っていくという形で、GT500 の方は、その段階的によって2段階まで、100のところから 95% から下げていくというような段階で、サクセスウェイトがマックスよりもウェイトが重たくならないようにして燃料リストリクターで500の方は調整しています。
Well, regarding the 500s, we'll start by speaking of this 500s. How do we manage the success weight? So the series starts with 0 weight for obviously all the cars. Then according to the result after the race, let's say first position, second position, we add weight. Then the maximum weight would be 100 kilograms after several races. After that, we use a fuel restriction system with 2 levels of fuel restriction in order to balance so that the competition is fair throughout the entire season. So it's
いえ、最後の時の最終戦の1個手前のレースが半分になります、ウェイトが。そしてまた最終戦が、初戦と一緒のように、ノーハンデで戦うというレース。
So how it goes during the season, the cars that have won or gained points will also gain success weight. Then one race before the last race, all the success weight will go to half. We'll cut it in half. And for the very last race of the season, then it will be 0 again, so that all the racing cars will be racing as they started from the beginning.
I think that's incredible. What a great, it almost seems like, and when we were watching the video, seeing the weight decals on the sides of the cars, is that something for a team to be proud of, to have more of those decals? Does that show that they're one of the teams to beat?
やっぱり誇りに思ってチームも張ってるんですか？
そうですね。それは誇りに思って、今までの戦績が物語るんで、それを同時にチームも見るし、お客さんにもきちっと分かるように、このチームは、この車、このドライバーは、これだけの実績を積んでるっていうのが、お客さんに分かるようにという意味でも、ステッカーを貼ってます。
Yes, exactly. So those stickers on the side of the cars are to the teams of obviously the drivers are very proud, and it is obviously to show not only all the other cars and all, but all the fans. So it gives merit to the drivers that in spite of the weight that they carry, they're able to continue performing as best as they can.
100キロ積むと、そのステッカーはゴールドに変わります。
So once they have gained 100 kilograms, the sticker is a golden sticker. It means that, they're very special.
まあ、貼ってる車は少ないですけどね。
Yeah, obviously it's very difficult to gain 100 kilograms. So there are not many cars with the golden sticker because, the weight, it gets harder to compete and win when you are heavier.
よろしければお送りしましょう。
It'll be a pleasure to send you some of the stickers you can stick in your private cars.
Yeah, that would be great. I'll stick one on the side of my my Toyota SUV. That's wonderful. Oh, that's great. Pit stops are a part of it, and driver changes and all of that. Again, when it comes to the racing event itself, there are a lot of things to be highlighted both on and off the track, and I do feel that pit stops are a pretty big highlight. How competitive are they in Super GT?
ドライバー2人以上になってます。300キロの場合は2人のドライバーで、ピットに入ってきたときに、給油とタイヤ交換。それから、タイヤ交換は義務の場合もありますし、変えなくてもいい場合もあります。ただ、ほとんどの、チームが変えます。その時にドライバー交代をします。だから、給油をしているときは、ドライバー交代はできるけども、タイヤ交換はできないんで、タイヤ交換のところのメカニックたちの人数も制限されて、ピットレインに出れる人間の人数も制限してますので、その中でタイヤ交換をしなければいけない。また給油をしなければいけないというふうになってます。
Yes, so we do have pit stops. And in our pit stops, it is required to do refueling and the driver change. We have at least 2 drivers. So for example, in a 300-kilometer race, there will be a pit stop where the drivers and the refueling has to be done. They have an option to do a tire change or not. However, so the driver can be changed while they're refueling, but however, the number of staff that works on the car is limited. So within the number of staff, they have to do the tire changes, refueling, and drive changes as fast as they can, obviously.
ピットに入っていって停止している時間はだいたい40秒前後が多いですね。
And just for you to have an idea, each pit stop with including a driver change is around 40 seconds.
Okay.
ナスカーみたいにね、より多くの人たちだったりとか、多くの人たちでやらないので、ね、人数が制限されているので、ちょっとタイヤ交換の方には時間がかかってます。5人。
So, yeah, like, for example, compared to a NASCAR race where you can have, I suppose, more team crew, with a Super GT, you're allowed 5 team crews. So, especially for tire changes, it takes longer. So therefore, around 40 seconds is the average time for a pit stop.
Okay. The racing, the events look very thrilling, look highly competitive, very exciting as well. Is it possible? How could I watch that, whether I'm here in the United States or Europe or somewhere else?
基本的には海外の場合はモータースポーツ .com のところで、映像が流れているはずです。
To watch it overseas, basically it's shown on motorsports.com. So it's a platform where you can watch this race around the world, motorsports.com.
And that's wonderful. Now, this started, again, you're celebrating 30 years this year as the All Japan GT Championship, and now it's also evolved into an international series. Is there still more room for growth? Is there, possibility to have more than 8 rounds and go to different places where you're not right now?
この後の、コロナ前にはタイとマレーシアのレースもやっておりました。基本的には東南アジアに対しての部分、中国含めてマレーシア、タイ、それからインドネシア、オーストラリアというところに対するものをウィンターレースみたいな格好で、日本寒いとテストもできないので、ウィンターレースみたいなものが出来上がると、みんなでアジア圏の中で、一緒に我々のレースに見るものと、それから逆に参加してもらうもの、その人たちと一緒にやれればいいなと思ってます。
Yes, so before the COVID, we raced in Thailand and in Malaysia for many years. And we're planning to go back again pretty soon. But besides these 2 countries, we're also thinking of China, Indonesia, Australia. Well, the fact is that in Japan, during the winter seasons, we aren't able to race or even test due to the temperatures. So during the winter, our aim is to go into hot areas of Southeast Asia so we can continue testing and racing. And also, it's obviously for all the fans in Asia, but not only to participate as a fan, but also to join the series as an entrant, a participant. So we're always opening our market, our platform to a wider variety of participants.
One thing mentioned in the video was cutting CO2 emissions by 2030. How is that goal going to be achieved? How far along are you with that?
去年、今年、e フュエルに対するもの、まずは基本的には、燃料に対するものは、そこのスポンサー後ろに書いてあると思うんですけど、ETS ってあると思うんですけども、そこの部分のハルタマンの燃料を、使用して合成、化石燃料を一切使わないというものでスタートをさせました。GT500 は今この燃料でいってます。GT300 の方は、ブローバイであったり希釈の問題が出たために、今は、この状態のところでテストをしてて、やっぱりカスタマーに対するカスタマーサービス、が GT3 なんで、そこの部分に対して来期においては、50%、この合成燃料を使用するというところから、のものが今年のスタートとしてのものは燃料を入れました。この先にかかってくるものとすれば、EV であったり、ハイブリッドシステムであったり、それから、再生材料を使うというような格好の部分で、2030年までに、きちっとした状態をステップバイステップで作り上げたいというふうに思っています。
Exactly. So as you well mentioned, our goal is to Super GT, so Green Project 2030. So by 2030 is to achieve 100% non-fossil emission. At the moment, and behind you, you have the sponsor ETS. We use the e-fuel ETS in our series. So we implemented this new fuel, e-fuel, in 2023. And so it's a non-fossil synthetic fuel that is, so this last season, we raced the GT500s 100% with this fuel, and it was very successful. Regarding the GT300s, we have had several, small issues that have to be considered. So, and of course, the GT300s, it is a customer service in way of running the event. So therefore, for next season, we are planning into implementing 50% of synthetic fuel so that it can balance with each manufacturer's and each team's customer service policies. In the future, and little by little, we're also implementing EV hybrids. And so all these different aspects will come together by 2030. We will reach a zero CO2 emission goal, our goal.
それと同時に、今使っている合成燃料の先にあるのは燃料としては、水素と二酸化炭素から、作る、e フュエル、これを国産での燃料にしたいというふうに思って、今一生懸命動いている状態で、26年、27年ぐらいには、この e フュエル国産が、少しテストができるようになるかなというふうに考えています。
And meanwhile, we've been also working on hydrogen and using hydrogen and CO2 to create e-fuels. This e-fuel will be created in Japan, will be made in Japan, and the project now is on its way. We plan that by 2027, we'll be able to test the fuel So it will be a nationally produced fuel that will be tested and then implemented as soon as possible, but we'll start testing in 2027.
ハイブリッドは、トヨタ、日産、ホンダの純正パーツの中からの部分を、取り入れて、それが使用できないかというようなところ。ECU のコンピューターに対しては、今までも GT500 の方は、ボッシュを使ってます。そこの部分になるかもしれないけども、他のものに対して、いろんなものの材料が日本のマニファックから、通常で使っているものからの部分がフィードバックができないかということで、各マニファックと、協議を行っています。
So regarding the GT500, we are in regular discussions with the Japanese manufacturers regarding the hybrid systems at each of the manufacturers. So we're talking about Toyota, Honda, and Nissan. And our ECU is a Bosch ECU. But so amongst the three manufacturers, we're also discussing the common parts and how we can implement their technology regarding hybrid to ameliorate and to speed up the EV and hybrid systems in our series.
当然ながら、ルマンシリーズのこの方の LMDH を参考にしながら、進めています。
And obviously, as we know, the WEC or Le Mans LMDH is an example of how we're going to, how we treat the hybrids and how we can introduce the hybrids in our series as well.
タイヤの方は再生材料というものを使いながら、45% を使用しようという、それを目標に、みんなで再生材料ということで SDGs に対して、今後もタイヤメーカーと協力しながら、作り上げようとしています。
And regarding tire manufacturers, we work very closely with all the different tire manufacturers, and our goal is to use as much recycle as possible. The goal at the moment is 45% of recycle, for keeping in mind the SDG sustainability of each of the tires.
これだけやれば音出しても許してくれるでしょう。
So if we work hard into getting all this that I've just mentioned, our goal, I suppose, well, our goal is to keep the cars with sound. We want to have race with sound. So, if we can make these goals come true, I suppose all of us fans will allow some sound in our racing.
That's wonderful.
Thank you.
Tracy?
Thank you so much, Mr. Bandoh. I hate to have to stop, but this is the end of our session. This is our end of the day 3. So, arigato gozaimasu, Bandoh-san. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for being with us. And we'd love to have you back next year. What you're doing with this series is absolutely tremendous. So thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Hi.
Registering on ePartrade is easy. To start, click on the Join for Free button on the homepage. First, search your company to see if it's already in our database. If you see your company on the list, click on it to select it. Then, choose Claim Company if you are one of the decision makers, an owner, marketing person, or main company contact. Or choose Join Company if you are an employee, and press Continue. If you couldn't find your company in our database, select Register a New Company. On the following page, fill out your name, email, phone number, job title, and choose a secure password. If you chose Register a New Company, you'll need to choose your business type. Select Supplier if you're looking to display products or services and connect with buyers. Choose Racing Business if you're looking to source new parts and connect with suppliers. Choose Race Team if you own or are a member of a professional race team. Then, enter your company name. Please provide a website, Facebook page, or LinkedIn if you have one, and choose to either claim or join the company. You can view and agree to our terms of use here. If you'd like to receive our weekly newsletter, choose Accept. Finally, click Register Now and your registration will be submitted for approval. An email will be sent to your inbox. Please confirm your email address and you will be approved shortly. Welcome to ePartrade.